Hello.
Hello.
What's up?
Not much.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right.
We need an intro.
This is the intro.
No, it ain't.
Why not?
Why don't you say hi, Muvmint?
Oh. Hi, Movementers.
If this is like pulling teeth, I'm gonna go back to the office.
It's not me.
It's you. I didn't do anything.
I know. This is just going through a lot.
I know. Tell the audience.
Been going through a lot.
You have. Yes, you have. This is not coming out until Saturday.
No, I could do it.
You know how much editing we gotta do?
No, you just hit stop and go. That's.
Do you not realize how much editing this is gonna be? Go ahead. It'll get out this week. I'll make sure it gets out this week by the weekend.
I could do.
Because right now you have no motivation to do this.
It's not even. It's not even the motivation. Like it's motivation, but it's just like I'm going through so much stuff because.
Then why don't you take an FMLA from this?
I can't.
Yes, you can.
I already took 1 week.
Brooke knows what you're going through. It will be fine.
I know, but I still want to try it.
Well,
I still want to try it.
okay. Go ahead.
I am. I'm talking to you.
Are you sure you don't want to do this like a live stream and keep it pumping? Because we could do a live stream.
Well, we kind of are doing the live stream if we just take it out and put it in. It's just a fake live stream.
Then it's not a live stream. It's Movementers, not live stream.
Yes. Yes.
So what do you want to talk about today?
Well, I had a topic about drowning.
Okay.
I feel as though that I'm going through a lot of stuff right now. And it's not even stuff that has to deal with Salvation Records. I love everything about Salvation Records.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm probably at my happiest when I do recording.
Yeah.
So like all the Monday sessions, like I feel no stress at all when I do my recordings.
Mm-hmm.
It's just awesome, you know what I mean? It's an awesome experience to have, to see like what kind of writing I've been doing, you know, how much I progressed.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like soon as the lights go off, then I step out of that booth and I go back to my regular life. And it just seems like a lot of stuff is happening.
Because it is. A lot of stuff is happening. A lot of stuff is changing. You never was a really big fan of change.
Yeah, I remember I mentioned that on Movement Monday.
Mm-hmm.
That it was like, well, but the stuff that's happening at my job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those people who don't know, I went on strike. And it's like I've been out of work for almost a month.
Yep, coming to 15.
Right. So been out of work for almost a month. So, and I knew something was gonna happen because I just saw the writing on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Because I even told you, I said, yo, act like I don't have a job for. So this was like 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know, I say act like I don't have a job because I was just seeing the writings on the wall. To the point that like I didn't even know if it was because of the strike or is it because I was going to be fired or.
That's why I canceled a lot of future like trips and stuff that everybody wanted to do. I was like, no, we probably won't be able to.
Right. And plus, like I trust you with the financials now because, you know, after our hiccups from years before,
Mm-hmm.
now you're a lot better with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I can trust you with like how we operate our money.
Yeah.
And then plus with the job you got a very good job too. So like I knew like, you know, you were capable of handling, say God forbid something happens to me. So it's like, so that's why I love you, because you're becoming that person that I knew you could be.
Yeah.
So that's why I told you, I said, act like I don't have a job, because I seen things coming. And it came. It actually came. It did, we went on strike and we voted down the contracts because the money wasn't good enough to battle the inflation.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good enough to battle the medical costs. And so I've been out of work for almost a month.
Yeah.
And I knew I was going to go through another test. You know what I mean? But I also knew that even though I've been going through a lot of tests and mentally and stuff, I knew God got me. You know what I mean? It's not the fact that like I felt like I'm alone or anything. I don't feel alone. But due to what's going on, that's a major wreck on my life. And it feels like I'm drowning sometimes.
Like you're going into the abyss.
Right. But at the same time, like I said, I am, even though I feel bad about it, because of the strains that I put on the family, because it's a hardship, because that's a whole income that we kind of had to delete just and survive on your income.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I feel that what we're doing is right, because my job is not paying enough.
Yeah.
And I just refuse to not only allow myself to be devalued, but at the same time, I refuse myself and allow to other people that work so hard at that company to be devalued too.
Yeah.
Because even to this day, I didn't tell people, unless people really look into it, they don't know where I work at. Because I'm not saying I won't tell them, it's just that, that's not important as far as Salvation Records. You know what I mean? Because that's just a job that I work at other than that Salvation Records.
It's your 9 to 9 job.
Right.
5 to 9 job.
More like 9 to 11 job or something like that, you know what I mean? Because I do about 14 hours a day. So,
yeah.
But shout out to all the friends that checked on me. You know who you are, and it's just amazing that it just shows you what I said on other prior episodes, that God shows you who are really on your side. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, he shows you the people, not to say not on your side, but it shows you who you should not put as much value and time in. Because not only they may not know, maybe they're too naive to know, but maybe some of them just don't even care. So it's, but at all this, I can tell you what, it was hard to function for a while, as far as like all the assignments that I had to do, as far as working, doing my assignments for the album, other stuff in Salvation Records, and now I have to battle a chaotic life outside where my paying job is. Mm-hmm. So it did take a tax. I'm not gonna lie, it did take a tax on my body and on my mentals a little bit, because some days, like the last week, the last time I was supposed to do Salvation Storytime recording, I could not get up. And as much as I wanted to get up and do the topic, I just could not get up.
Yeah. I know. I was there.
Yeah. I mean, how did you feel about it? Because you saw how it was.
I knew you needed that day off. Like, that was the thing, too. Like, you could see the writing on the wall. Like, when you're kind of not going a downward spiral. And sometimes you do need a break.
Right. And I said it I always said it. I said, just because you're born again Christian don't mean everything gets better.
Yeah, if anything, it's the exact opposite sometimes.
Yeah, it gets pretty much worse, because now when you become a born again Christian, you're being spotted by the enemy because you're not like everybody else. Mm-hmm. So therefore, the enemy attacks you. And honest to truth, I told you that months before about act like I don't have a job, but I saw that a long time ago because the enemy say he's going to try to take my job for me. And but I have a father that I rely on to and try to, that I rely on to the point that he gives me comfort sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I always do doing this music for the Lord with my brother, I knew I was going to have enemies. And like I said, when you become a Christian, you're going to have enemies because you're not following the ways of the world. You're following the ways of the Lord or try to break out of that chain link, which is the world. And you're going to cause a stir on people's thoughts.
Yeah.
To the point that it seems like a lot of times things that happen, it feels like it's a deliberate attack on me because of what I believe in. And I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? But even though I'm going through a lot and I'm feeling kind of on a downwind lately, I'm still thankful it happened. Because during the whole strike, even though, I've been in the rain, a lot of days I've been in the rain, you know what I mean? Like, I walked around, did my protesting, but I was in the rain for 8 hours in the day. Like yesterday, wasn't as bad, but like a couple Sundays I was in drenched rain to the point that water was filling in my boots and I was protesting still.
Yeah.
So it was miserable conditions out there. We've been at it for about 3 weeks now. So, but I'm still thankful it happened because I started learning more about some of the people that work there. And even though I was going through my turmoil, I got to actually learn about a lot of people. And to the point that, believe it or not, we for quite some time during the strike, I was having conversations to other people about Jesus. And it was cool because, like, even I had a debate with somebody that's in the Nation of Islam, and me and him was talking because one of the things I always said that I want to learn why people follow different religions. See, if anybody knows me, I'm not a good book reader. Like I can read it. I like to read. Don't get me wrong, but I've learned more about God on the street. So a lot of times I do falter, and a lot of times I do mess up. But at the same time, the Lord teaches me things, and I learn, and I become a better person. So when I was debating with this guy that was in the Nation of Islam, me and him had a very nice debate. You know what I mean? And it brought me to an understanding about why the people follow the Nation of Islam. But at the same time, even though I respect that person for following it, I learned that I'm never going to turn my back on Jesus Christ. Because even when we was debating and I felt like the Lord was talking through me, through him, he brought up to some things that I never even thought myself. And it just shows you how much God is just wonderful. But at the same time, it just feels like I'm drowning. You know what I mean? But I know I'll be okay. Like one of the songs I knew when I was drowning, felt like I was going down under, is like, it just feels like the weight of the world is just heavy on you. Yeah. I even told you myself, like it got to the point I couldn't even really film this session that we're having right now.
Yeah.
That I needed your help. When I was in my, like the really bad stages of my depression, I wouldn't even ask people to help me in my 20s.
I know.
So, right. So now, just so, like I told you, I said I'm on a down curve. I need your help. That alone shows you how much I grew. And a lot of people who are going through a lot of emotions and depressions and stuff, You got to understand is that when you don't open up your mouth and say, I need help, you're only causing the enemy to win.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I don't want that. So it's like, and if you notice on the title of the picture title I use, I found a couple pictures that illustrated drowning.
Mm-hmm.
But I chose the one where not only was I drowning, I have somebody grabbing me as I drown. Even though I titled it when you're drowning, I have somebody grabbing me to help me pull me up.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you, even though I'm on the down curve right now, it also shows that I'm looking up to somebody with confidence that I know I'll be back.
Well.
I always said it all the time, Jenny. I said, even though a lot of things we go through, you go through, you're to be like a representation of Christ. Because even though I know you're not God, but you are somebody who I look up to, just like us, as I look up to Jesus Christ. You are that ray of light in my life.
Oh, that's actually really sweet.
Thank you. And I mean it, because, like I said, that's how I view you. That's why I said our friendship was more important than anything else.
Yeah.
God forbid if we're not together or whatever, our friendship is more important to me, because that's how I look up to you that way. And that's why I chose that cover, because I know that I'll be okay.
You will.
But at the same time, where you feel like you're drowning, yes, you should get help. If it's to the point that you're on a real bad slope, to the point you need professional help, I say swallow your pride and seek professional help. But also look into a higher power, because in the Bible says that God would never leave you or forsake you.
Yep. That's why it's called that program. You ever do? Seek and put your faith in a higher power that's above yourself.
It is. You have to. So I know I'm going to be okay. It's just...
You never was a victim. You never had a victim mentality. That's the one thing that I tell some of my more towards adult kids is, which one would you rather be, the victim or the victor? You have to choose that. Nobody else is going to choose that but you.
Right.
So if you want to stick with the victim mentality and just stay in your bubble and just drown, that's totally on you. But if you want to be the victor and see another day, you got to reach out and get help. Or pull yourself up off the bootstraps and keep it moving.
Right.
But the biggest thing is to ask for help. That's free. That's a free thing you can do, is ask for help.
Maybe you can put the number to the suicide hotline on there.
Sure can. I got that on speed dial.
But you're right, because I also think about, that I think about when I'm going through my downslope. Believe it or not, like, as much as bad I feel on some of these days, I'm thankful for it, because I'd rather go through it so that when my kids go through something like this, I can relate to them. And I don't want them to make the mistake that other people make. You know what I mean? So that's why I said it constantly all the time. It's like, if you're going through something and you feel sad about it, it's okay. It's okay to feel sad about it. It's okay to tell people I feel sad.
Yeah.
Because when you're acknowledging that you have a problem, that's the first step to recovery. That's always the first step in the programs for addiction.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, when you're declining mentally and drowning, one of the things you try to do is go back to some old addictions to make you feel human. And when you go that way, besides acknowledging that you have a problem and giving it up to God and consult with people who you know you can trust to help you, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what it is. You are on the verge of being caught in Satan's trap. I say, when you're drowning, you're not dead yet, but you're on a decline.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start to feel bad that way, to the point that you start to look at other sources that might not be good for you and sinful against God, you're on the start of a decline.
Mm-hmm. You're descending.
You're descending. And that's just what it is. So.
Yeah. It's one of those things that if you don't, once you realize, that's where a lot of times seeking professional help does help, is due to, you'll start to realize certain signs. It's not to say that depression, you're going to get cured from depression. I have yet to see anyone get cured from depression.
Mm-hmm.
It's you learn how to handle it, and also you learn how to cope with it. And you hopefully will get it to the point where it's a whisper in the back of your head, or eventually it's like you don't hear it at all on most days.
And I'm glad you said whisper, because that's when you start, when I started talking about the evil within, and started talking about how I was demon possessed because I allowed my hatred to build in me to the point that I felt like I was evil within. One of the things that helped grew that demon inside of me was when I was feeling down, and that's when all of a sudden you start hearing voices from Satan and his demons to entice you to go further down the curve. One time I was a kid, I had somebody, I was feeling down, depressed, and literally nobody was in the room with me, and I heard in a clear, loud voice, the voice said, "You know, nobody doesn't like you."
That's an intrusive thought.
And that's what I said on a Mythbusters on Evil Within. Demons don't always act like the Exorcist.
No.
Sometimes they lie dormant within you to create unholy thoughts that drive you to the point of doing something either fatal or even suicidal. So if anybody hears that, started hearing these thoughts that nobody loves you, you should kill yourself so everybody won't be burdened by you. Which I didn't. I confess I didn't hear it during this downslope. Because I know if I heard that, I know it's Satan.
Yeah.
But if anybody who don't know that, and you start to hear those things or start having those thoughts in you, you already got a demon that's causing oppression on you to drive you to something very demonic. And you need to get yourself right before it's too late. Like I say, I don't hear that now because I know it's nothing but the enemy.
Yeah.
Because honest to truth, even though I'm feeling down a lot lately, I've been hearing Bible verses in my head.
That's what it says. You gotta pray up and study.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things. Like I praise God for every day I'll go up there in the picket lines and I start talking to people about Jesus. And it's just all for random stuff. Like I didn't say, go up to people and say, you know, Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior. Nah. It's just like I was playing my music and somebody's like, "What's that?" And I start talking, and we start talking about God. So it's like it's by doing my trial, like God's been constantly giving me Bible verses. And I was looking up something today when I woke up this morning. I was hearing something today, and it just shows you how far along I became as a Christian. I acknowledge that I have my faults, that sometimes I feel like I'm going under, but at the same time, I acknowledge that somebody's trying to pull me up out of it. And I'm gonna read this Bible verse, and then we're just gonna go ahead and cut it off.
Okay. JB can.
Well, however you want to direct me. Isaiah 43 verses 1 and 2. I believe this is like an international version. Like I said, I was looking it up online, but it kind of went with my theme of drowning. And it says, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze." And again, that's Isaiah 43 verses 1 and 2. So just know that, like, I know some people were worried about me, about the stuff that I'm going through. I'm going through hell. Don't get me wrong. I can see it on my face. I can see it in my health. But at the same time, just know that throughout my struggle right now, I'm not wavering my faith when it comes to Jesus. No matter how much, I tried, like some things, like I did end up, going back to some addictions, but at the same time, I stopped myself at the same time too. And that just shows you I'm not changing my faith that God is going to bring me out of it. And this is why I'm happy where I'm at now.
Yeah, better place.
Better place. So just continue to pray for me. I'm not sure when I'm going to do another episode of Storytime. Maybe in 2 weeks, maybe a little bit further, until I get this mess that's going on at my job over and done with. But I love you guys. Keep praying for me just like I keep praying for you. Stay tuned, stay alert, and always remember, you are the movement. And I'm thankful for everybody that's been supporting me, holding me down while me and my family are going through a very bad trial right now. So that's it for me today. Get going. I guess I'll have Jenny delegate what's my next episode going to be. All right? Peace.